speaking of results different, we talked to Jason Garrett last hour, and he said that he was there in Miami and having dinner, you and your wife, thought that you were going to be going there. What I didn't understand is, okay, you had a shoulder injury, but they decided on Dante Culpepper, who also had a damaged knee, and they kind of bet on his knee over your shoulder?
Yeah, I remember everything about that trip to Miami. Again, like on paper, I'm coming off of the major shoulder injury. Not sure if I'm ever going to play football again, but hopeful. And it's the New Orleans Saints and the Miami Dolphins. On paper, this was the easiest decision in the world. It's the Miami Dolphins all the way. Nick Saban's the head coach. Has done an outstanding job with that defense, one of the best defenses in the league. Zach Thomas, Jason Taylor, like they had finished that last season, the previous season, winning 7 in a row. Really, the only question mark for their team was quarterback. They had skill position guys. Jason Garrett was the quarterback coach. Mike Mularkey was the OC. They were running the same offensive system that I was coming from in San Diego. On my recruiting trip there, we're eating dinner on Wayne Huizinga's yacht. And he's sitting there talking about how every summer we're going to go to Scotland and play golf, me, you, and Dan. I'm like, Dan? They're like, yeah, Dan Marino. I'm like, oh, so Dan is like my mentor now? You know what I mean? Like, this is the greatest thing ever, State of Florida, no state income tax. I'm like, this is a no-brainer, right? But also on that trip, they put me through like this rigorous, health, inspection, basically like 6 hours of testing, contrast MRI tube, where I'm in the MRI tube literally for 2 hours. And they're trying to assess just the damage that was done to my shoulder and the chances of me being able to come back and be the same. I remember sticking these big needles in my arm to test my nerve endings. It was nuts. And at the end of the day, Nick Saban looked me in the eye and said, our doctors think you have a 25% chance of ever coming back and playing again. And I'm like, well, okay, I know what they say, but what do you think? He's like, I got to believe what the doctors are telling me, but, we still want you, but, it's, I'm just letting you know kind of, what's been said. And so I just really didn't get the feeling that they had a ton of faith or confidence in my ability to come back. So despite how good that visit was and how much respect I had for them and the organization and everything, the Saints was a totally different story from the perspective of, look, we know that city was destroyed, but Sean Payton and Mickey Loomis had just this unwavering belief in me to be their guy and to be a leader of that organization. It was going to be this collaboration, and I was going to have so much input. They were building this thing around me, and it was just that moment where I felt like I had the chance to be a part of something so much greater than football. I felt like it was God's calling in my life to be there, and so that's why we chose New Orleans.
Did the Saints not have an MRI machine? They didn't put you through the same test that the Dolphins did?
Apparently not. It was down.
Good for you.
I think it was a little bit, maybe it was like, ignorance is bliss. It was like, we don't want to know. We would rather not look at the images. We're just going to, maintain a ton of faith and hope that you're going to be okay.